Likutei Torah Behalotcha, page Lamed Gimel, second column. Okay, it says in the pasuk in Navi, "Re'isi v'nei menera zav kula." I see the whole menera, the geila reish v'shiva nesel and the 7 candles. So he says, "Hine nedus nikun neshamas." The nedus of the menera represent the neshama of the Jew. Like the Shusterman Malach says, Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam. The candle of Hashem, like we learned many times why, by God forbid, by Shiva, by Yorta, you always light candles, because the neshama is likened to the candle of Hashem. The Shiva and Neirasel, and therefore the 7 candles on the Menorah, what does that represent? Neshama says Shiva Rayim represents the 7 shepherds. Avram Maradi is sponsoring the class. 4 good things. In other words, like this. Sometimes it says that this represents the 7 different types of Jews. Here it represents the Shiva Rayim, the 7 shepherds, the 7 Ushpizin, those are called the 7 shepherds. And it's the same thing, because each one kindles the menorahs of those people connected to that level. Because normally no mind can grasp Hashem. They shiva them only through the 7 shepherds, like it's explained somewhere else. Okay, 1 second. This is the parentheses. Okay, 3 lines from the end of the page. Basically, like he says, the hashpah of Elokus to all Yidden has to come through the head. Just like the hashpah of the body goes into the head, through the head, the nerve center. So the Shiva Rayim are those that are mashpia to every single level of Yiddishkeit. The klolus neshamas Yisrael. And in other words, that's the details. There's a chesed neshama, gvura neshama, and so on. But the general neshamas Yisrael, that's called menera. Menera zuav kulam. He says, it's all beautiful. In another place, the Medrash says, that this pasuk doesn't refer to the neshamas now, it refers to la'asud lavi. It's going to be Menorah Zav Kula, pure gold, it refers to la'asud lavi. Like it says in Medrash Rabbi Emer, in this world now, there's junk, there's evil, there's pselis. It can't be Menorah Zav Kula, what's the pasuk say? Zav Kula. The Medrash says, lost love, that's going to be Menorah Zav Torah Kula, is going to be a ultimate pure Menorah. Now there's a lot of junk going in there. It says in the Navi Zechariah, Menorah Zav Kula. It says like this, the fish Yirmiyah Kasev Nimas Karo Lahem. The Yirmiyah called the Jews the despicable silver. V'yechazkel kairei some Sigim ben Adam. Hoyuli b'nei Beis Yisrael. And Yechazkel, when he was admonishing the Jews, it says like the junk of people. Baza Chayik and Chayik. And so they were speaking negatively about the Jews. This one is disgusting silver, or there's a bunch of Sigim, is like the sediment, the junk in it. And Zechariah comes and says, Varin Re'isi v'nei menera zav kula. Shozavi, kula. Okay? Mizem mashma dekoy gamken al zman achshav. He says like this. The Medrash says in a different place like this. Yirmiyah said something bad about the Jews. Yechezkel said something bad about the Jews. Came Zechariah and said, menera zav kula. So they're out there everything. Obviously, Yirmiyah and Yechezkel are for sure not talking about la'asud lavi. They're talking about now. And yet the Medrash says they spoke bad, and Yirmiyah says the Jews are zav menera kula. Right? So obviously he's not only speaking la'asud lavi, but he's also speaking now. Vadi Yirmi v'Cheskel kivnu kiyam azman da'achshav v'lei lotzid lavi v'imkein al zeh basa chaya v'am ha'menorah zov kula. Okay, so the Rebbe is saying like this, that the menorah represents Klal Yisrael. Then you have the Ner menorah, the Neros of the menorah, Shiva Neros, that corresponds with the 7 categories of Jews, or like he says here, the Shiva Arayim, but the Eden are called menorah. And then he says, we find in the Medrash that Yecheskel and Yirmi and Yecheskel spoke negatively about the Jews, and Zechariah came and spoke good about the Jews. Now, not only loss of loving, right? So he says, but l'chayda we need to understand, Tzarech lahavim be'emes, madua Yirmi and Yecheskel amru kain. Why did Yirmi and Yecheskel speak negatively? And Chayam and Menedas Zahav Kula, Hainu Kulach Yafa, it's all beautiful. Why is it, Taka, that Yirmi and Yecheskel spoke negatively about the Jews? And Chaya said it's a golden pure Meneda. Why did that happen? So he says, so understand this, we need to understand why the Yidden are called Meneda. Obviously, the pasuk calls him Meneda. Ki kamei shamaneda miksha echad. Te'asa meneda, because just like the Meneda and the Beis Hamikdash, the din was when it was made from gold, the Torah said it had to be miksha. Miksha means they took one block of gold, a key card, and they didn't piecework it and solder it together. It was one piece of gold and they hacked it out, all the beautiful designs of the Meneda and so on. So he says, Shemab shenasam te'osa Meneda, Shedei hamab shemakish and Esa. Okay? Through this, that they bang out, this mixture means they bang it out until it comes. Nasa masha l'mayla l'mata, umasha l'mata l'mayla. So then when you bang it out, the bottom is the top and the top becomes the bottom because you're banging it all out from the same piece of gold. So mata becomes maila, and maila becomes mata. The same thing the Gemara says literally means all Jews are responsible one for another. Okay, the Gemara learns out when the Yidden accepted the end, by Moshe Rabbeinu's time, they accepted out of his responsibility one for another. So, Alter Rebbe is going to explain this now, but what does it mean? The concept that Arevim literally means, when the Gemara says, the halacha is, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebazeh. Okay? All Jews are responsible one for another. Therefore, the halacha is, if I did a mitzvah already, okay? If I heard shofar already, so I did the mitzvah shofar. Yet I can blow shofar for you. But the question is, I'm not obligated anymore. A kid can't blow shofar for an adult because he's not obligated, right? And if you're not obligated, you can't do it for a person who is obligated. So the question is, I already heard shofar, I already heard Megillah, how can I read it for you? I already heard Kiddush, how can I make Kiddush for you? So Allah says, because Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebazeh, they're all responsible one for another. So even though I heard shofar, but I have a responsibility that you need to hear shofar. And because of that, I can blow shofar for you. Even though I'm not obligated anymore, but I am obligated. I'm obligated to make sure you hear shofar. Right? That's the concept. Chassidus explains there's 3 meanings of the word Arev. Arev means guarantor. Right, an Arev in Hebrew. Arev means ta'aruves, a mixture. And Arev means sweet. Kol nor Arev. It's a psukim that say it means sweet. So it says, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh. And another interesting thing, the Rebbe asks, grammatically, it should say Arevim Zeh lo Zeh. I'm responsible one to another. The Gemara's expression, Kol Yisrael Arevim Zeh Bazeh, in another. I'm not responsible in you, I'm responsible to you. What type of expression is Arevim Zeh Bazeh? So Chassidus explains, because the other 2 meanings, we are all mixed. in one another, in each other. So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that all the like mixture, why are they even called the Menorah? The Menorah is mixture, so there's no top, there's no bottom. In the raw state, it's a block of gold. And then you carve, you do everything you have to do. So he says the same thing, Kol Yisrael Evim Zeh B'Zeh, and he says what that means is, Kloimar Me'uravim Zeh B'Zeh. They are mixed one with another. So you are me, I'm you, top is bottom, the heads are the feet, and the feet are the heads, and it's all one big cholent.
With olive or iron?
What?
With olive.
Iron.
Iron.
Orev means ambush with an olive.
Iron respect?
Yeah.
Like air.
Adam. But it's Orev, what?
And this is not applicable to underage kids because they're not bound by mitzvahs to begin with.
Correct. Even the mitzvah responsibility, they're not. Yeah. Ki atem kruyim adam. Why? What do you mean Murav Zebazah? He says because Jews are called Adam, right? Kamei ha'adam. Yesh leireish regel. There's a head and a foot. Reish mekabel chayis gami regel shetzorach. The head also needs the foot, even though the head is higher than the foot. But if the head wants to go somewhere, it needs the foot. So the head is bound and relies on the foot. So therefore, Atam Kriyam Adam, because just like a person, each part of the body must have the other part of the body, even though one's higher than lower. The same thing in Yiddishkeit. Each Jew is incomplete without another Jew. The Moshe Rabbeinu needs the foot guy, and the foot guy needs Moshe Rabbeinu and everybody in between. Like it says, I'm sorry, we are one, body. Like it's written already in Chassidus on the pasuk. Okay, okay, Yerecha and Pircha are the Yerech is the lower part, and Pircha is the Prachim, the flowers that were on the Menorah. Those are madreges. Yerecha is madreges atachtoinas. Yerecha is the lowest, and then it says ad pircha. The flower is the beauty. That's the higher levels. But the pasuk says miksha ad yerecha ad pircha mikshahi. That means the highest levels and the lower levels are all part of the same thing. That's why Chassidus asked the question. It says in the other Maimorim that it says Behalotcha and Eris, and then at the end it says Kain also. So Aaron did. Yeah. So Rashi says from the Gemara, La'aget shvacha shalar shlishina. It tells us the greatness of Aaron HaKohen, that when he lit the Menorah, he did it right. Okay? So Chassidus asked the question. Every Yukol lights Shabbos candles, every Yukol lights Chanukah candles, and we do it right. What's the big thing? He lit the Menorah. He took fire from the Mizbeach, right? And he lit the Menorah. What's the big deal? The Torah says he did it such great praise, he lit the Menorah right. So the answer is, we light the Menorah like candles. We light candles. Aaron understood he's lighting up every single different type of a Jew. The 7 menorahs the 7 candles represent 7 different types of Jews. Every possible scenario of a Jew. And Aaron HaKohen is illuminating and igniting every possible single Jew. So the question, how could that be? So the answer is Miksha. It's all one, we all come from the same place. All Jews are one. In the source, we're all one, we're Miksha. It's banged out, and the Neshama comes down. It comes in this level, branch number 1, branch number 4, branch number 7. It comes in different branches, but the source of it all is. And that's why it also explains another thing. Moshe Rabbeinu, it says Teyosa Menorah. Teyosa means it should pass it should be done. So it says Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't understand the Menorah. Hashem said, throw it into fire. and out came the original first menorah. There are more complicated things in the Mishkan. What Moshe couldn't understand. So what Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't understand is the same point. Not the physical structure of the menorah. How can this menorah illuminate every single type of person? So Hashem said, throw it into the fire. What does that mean? Every yid is a fire, the fire of the neshama. Every yid, the fire. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, you have this block of gold, and every Jew is the fire. Throw it into the fire. We kindle the menorah of the Jew. You got it. You have it. It's that aspect of it. Because so Chassidus explains what does it mean to Shetei Shalheves Elam Elel. The din was when they lit the menorah. Sometimes you light a candle, and it takes a second until the whole wick becomes. You light it, but it takes it. So it has to be. They had to kindle the menorah that Shalheves Elam Elel that goes up by itself. So Chassidus explains what does that mean. When you kindle another Jew, you have to make sure that he's into it himself. Shalheves Elam Elel, he can ignite somebody else. You can't just touch him, and you have to make sure that the whole thing is lit. The whole Jew is lit.
You have to stick long enough to make sure he's lit.
Yeah. Not touch him and run away. To kindle it. Okay, and he says, just skip the parentheses. And each Jew receives from the Shiva Neira Soyem, which are the Zion Graham. Every Jew and every Raya, and their level of delay. So now he says in the Kitzur, Neiros are called Neshamas, Chayos says Meneiros of Kula, not like Yirmi Vecheskel, and all of them is going on the present day. In your Miksha Tasi Yerechel Pircha, the highest levels and the lower levels, Pardach es Rachamuka Yerechel Reish V'Ego Kula Mekabim Shiva Neirisel, which are the Shiva Reim, Shashashim Kavayim Mei Be'eva Anar, and it's divided the Shiva Necholim, and then there won't be any Pirut. Since when all Jews are illuminated and the same menorah, so then it's Achdus. Okay, so now he says in Beis, V'nei mitzvahs are also called menorahs. Neshamas are called Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, and mitzvahs are called Ner Mitzvah V'Torah Or. Mitzvahs are also called Ner. V'gam ki Ramach mitzvahs asay. He says Ramach. And he says, what's the cheshbon? Ramach mitzvah sasei, which are Ramach Ivam de Malka, the 248 limbs, and the two hands, and Gematria Ner, like it says in the Maim Avaylacham the Tzitzis.
You have to stick by someone all your life until they get it?
Yeah. Afilu Me'ah Pa'amim.
Your hands get tired for sure.
Huh?
Your hands get tired for sure. You want a candle all your life?
You know, when this old lady went by the Rebbe by dollars, I think the Rebbe was either 90 or over 90, whatever. She went to the Rebbe, the dollars, she said, Rebbe, she was an old lady, she said, Rebbe, isn't it hard for you to stand on your feet so long giving out dollars? The Rebbe would stand 4 or 5 hours. And the Rebbe said to her, when you count diamonds, you don't get tired. If your hand is up and you're getting diamonds, then your hand doesn't get tired. Yeah. It's like a guy is carrying a load of books. He says, all right, let me give you some more. Don't go fly a kite. You're carrying diamonds, and the diamonds are yours, and whatever you carry is yours. And the guy says, hey, you want? He said, yeah. And he said, Bashalista, please give me the more the merrier. It's all in the mind. What are you doing? What are you counting? Are you counting garbage?